Okay, I only have like so much room on my little table here, so you're gonna see my computer and all kinds of fun stuff. But again, let me show you this vase. Okay. Now this, I don't know if you guys can see it in the camera, but in person, these are absolutely gorgeous. I've made them before, and I absolutely love mulberry paper for a multitude of reasons, which I'm going to share with you pretty soon here. But it's just, you can get such gorgeous effects with this. Okay, so this is what we're doing. All right. So, and here's how we get started. Okay, so what you're going to need is a piece of mulberry paper. Okay, it comes in sheets. It comes in big sheets. And what you're going to do is when you get your vase, whichever, because you can do this on any type of glass vase. It doesn't have to be this shape. It can be any shape. You know, it's actually, it's so simple to do that you can do it on any shape. So, but what you want to do is lay your mulberry paper down, wrap it around, and just make sure that you have enough to cover your whole vase, okay? And then you'll notice up here, I left just a little tiny bit at the top around here, because when I'm done, what I can do is I can just trim this off, because what we're going to do is we're going to add some beautiful trim down here and down at the bottom, so you can cut this top part off and it's going to be covered by the trim. Okay, so you need your mulberry paper, you need a glass vase. Okay, I recommend a permanent ink, a stays-on ink. You can use regular dye ink if you heat set it, and you heat set it really well, but always test it first. And what I mean by that is once you stamp your image and you go to color it, do it on a piece of, take a little strip of the mulberry paper that that you have extra of, and stamp on that and do a little test run on it, and then take the decoupage that we're going to use to put on there and add it, and see, make sure that it doesn't run. If it doesn't run, then you're safe. Okay, so you need black ink, a rubber stamp. I just used one, my little sunflower stamp here, the Mod Podge, this, yep, and then you need, some type of a foam brush or paintbrush or whatever. Good morning, Sylvia. How are you this morning? It's good to see you here. Okay, and then also colored pencils. I used colored pencils. I also used the Gamsol solution that I used to blend my colored pencils with, and stubs, the blending stumps. Okay, all right. So that's what you need, and that's all that you need to do this project. That's how easy it is. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, take our stamp pad. Okay, now before I forget, because these are in, in larger sheets, they have, sometimes they get lines and stuff and they fold on them. They fold. So when that happens, then before you start, just take a hot iron, and just iron over your mulberry paper. Okay, and those of you, before we start, those of you that don't know what mulberry paper is, I don't know if you guys can see this, but it has all of these awesome fibers in it. And you can get it in all kinds of different colors. You can get it, some of them have gold strands through it that are absolutely gorgeous. So, check out your craft stores for the mulberry paper. You can get it in all different colors and stuff. One of the things that I do love about this paper too is it is very thin. So, it's like a tissue paper. So it will mold fairly easily. But also, if for some reason something happens and you tear it as you're working, if you're putting it on your glass and you tear it, all you need to do is on your extra piece of mulberry paper that you have left over, tear off a little chunk of that and slap it on top of where the tear is, and then just put the decoupage on top of it, and you can't even tell. It's that cool. Okay, so first things first, we're going to stamp this up with our nifty stamp and stamp pad. Okay. And because this is a round project, you know, I don't want to just do one in the center and leave it, you know, and just leave it be. I like to go ahead and go, you know, and stamp it around in a few places. Okay. So we're going to go back again. Just stamp this again. Let's see, we'll put one over here. Miss Deanna, hi Miss Deanna. Glad you joined us. It's nice to see you, girl. Okay, and then we've got another one that we're gonna we'll put one over here. Now, let's see, about, yeah, there, looks good. All right, put that there. And then we'll take a couple more and we'll stamp them up here on the edges so you can see them peeking out. Okay, there's one. All right, and then we'll try one over here somewhere. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so once you've done that, then you can put your stamp away because you are done with it. Okay, and then the next thing that you're going to do is color all of your images in. Okay, now I'm going to just show you briefly. Oh, Peya is here. Peya. I hope I pronounced that right, Peya. If I didn't, let me know. Okay, so I take my colored pencils. I'm just going to show you this really quick. I don't know if you guys can hear, but my wiener dog is in the background crying because my husband took our other dog out for a walk and she wants to be out there with him. So she's in here being a whiner. What I call my whining wiener. Hush. Don't you guys just love live TV? All right. So I'm going to color my images in with my color pencils, and I'm not going to do each image because, like I said before, you guys, you know, it's like watching paint dry, and I don't want to bore you to death. So I'm just going to color this in really quick. I just want to show you just a little bit about, you know, why I like using rubber pencils, colored pencils. And, you know, I just love blending with them and just, you know, having a lot of fun with them. They're so easy to work with. Okay, so we're going to color the center here. Okay, and then I'm going to go back with a darker color. And then this is where I'm going to just add a little bit of highlights into my image. Okay, just like this. Okay, now I don't know if you guys have ever realized this or not, but I'm going to tell you a trade secret right now. The next time when you're stamping, take a look at your stamp. A lot of stamps, when they're created, the artist that draws them out will actually put the shaded areas into the stamps themselves. And what I mean by that is you see these little points right here on the stamp, the little lines. Okay, those are for shading. That tells you that, you know, that you should put some shading in there. Also along here on the leaf right here, there's this little bit of like dots and stuff and little pencil marks or you know, just marks. That's the artist telling you that it needs to be shaded there, that it's shaded. So if you don't know anything about shading and coloring and stuff like that, like, you know, I've been doing it for years now, but you know, before I didn't know anything, I learned that tip and I was like, oh, that's so awesome to know that. They kind of do it for you. Okay, so, and then of course, I always add a little bit of my own. So I just kind of go in and add my own little coloring. Now, mind you, you know, when I was creating the sample, of course, I took a lot more time and I was very, you know, much more careful, you know, to make sure that I got everything. So, but you know, I want to make sure that you guys see everything. Oh, and Lisa's here. Hello, Lisa. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Okay, now, Gamsol solution is what this is. Okay, and blending stump. Then what you do is you wet the end of that and then you take it and you take it over the areas that you just colored and you pull the darker color down. Now, anytime that you're coloring anything, you always go from the lightest to the darkest. Always lay your light colors down first and your dark colors last. Your dark colors are usually used for your shading. So, you know, that's what you want to bring back in as you're coloring. Okay, so if you can see, I hope you guys can see this, I'm taking the shading that I added and I'm pulling it back into my flower. Okay, all right, so that's how you do that. Now, as I told you, I'm not going to do the whole thing because it's, you know, it'll just take too long and it's just pretty much the same thing. Oh, and Abby's here. Hello, Abby. It's nice. Oh, you're new. Well, hi, Abby. Thanks for joining us today. Okay, so once you guys have all of this covered, you have everything colored, now you're ready to go, right? Okay, now two things here. You can take a fixative and go ahead and put a light spray on it if you want to. But with the Mod Podge, you really don't need it. But again, like I said before, make sure that you sample it out, your whatever color medium that you're using, because if you're using markers that are water-based, they're more than likely going to run when you put the Mod Podge on. Okay? So because of that, you always want to test your paper out first before you try to put it onto your project. Okay? So just make sure that you do that. Test your coloring out and make sure that everything is not going to run as soon as you add the Mod Podge on top. Okay, so once you have everything colored, now you're just ready to apply it. And this is super, super easy. Okay. I always start, when I'm doing this, I start with my center image. Okay, wherever my center is going to be, my front center. I start with that, and then I work, you know, then I work backwards or work around. Okay, so take your Mod Podge. You want to make sure that you stir it up really, really, really good. Okay, and then your foam brush. Now, I'm not going to show you how to do this because then I'll end up with two vases that are going to be exactly the same, and I could use this for another project. But I'm going to at least explain to you how I do it, okay? So, dip your brush in, and then what you want to do is just lay down just a little bit of Mod Podge on your glass first, and then lay your image on top, lay your paper on top, like this, okay? And then just smooth that out. Now, it does not matter. This is the reason why I use Mulberry paper. Because if you, like I showed you before, it has all of these fibers in it. So if you get wrinkles, it doesn't matter because the wrinkles look just like the fibers. Okay, so don't panic. Okay, so you lay it down and you kind of get it smoothed. Okay, and this is now stuck on there. And then take your Mod Podge again, dip it, and then take it and go over your image. Okay, and the rest of it is Mod Podge in the vase. Okay, so then you just work all the way around. You go all the way around to each of the ends until you have everything on. Okay, and then once it's all stuck on there, okay, you are going to have a little extra up here, as I told you. Okay, when you get to this point, just take your scissors, an X-Acto knife, whatever. Okay, just trim that off. Trim off the excess there. The bottom, I want you to, when you make yours, take your paper down to the bottom of the vase, okay? Because once again, we're going to be adding trim. You're going to add trim here and trim to the top. So let me show you now with the finished one what that looks like. Okay, so you see I added the trim up here, and then I also added it down here. Once everything is dry and ready, glue gun, a little bit of glue gun on there, adhere your trim, and that's it, and you're done. Now I'm going to give you a couple other tips on this. Okay, this also makes this technique, if you're going to use a single layer of mulberry paper like I've done here, it is very thin, as I said. So if you're going to put flowers in here like I've done, then what I want you to do is put some tissue paper inside your vase first. Let me show you here what I've done. Okay, put the tissue paper in and then stick your flower arrangement inside. Okay, the reason why we do it that way is because this paper is so thin, you will be able to see the stems. Okay, your flower stems. So you don't want that, right? So just put some tissue paper in there and then stick your flowers right in on top. This also is very, very beautiful if you want to put a candle in there. Okay, if you want to skip flowers and you just want to make it a candle, you put a candle inside there. You know, I always prefer that you use battery operated, you know, just because I would rather be safe than sorry. So stick a battery operated in there, and because the paper is so thin, you can see right through it, and it looks beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And the other thing I wanted to tell you is, if you want to make it a little thicker, then lay a plain layer of your mulberry paper down first. Don't stamp on it. Just adhere it first to your vase, and then take your stamped one like this and layer it on top of that, and that'll give you a little bit more oomph on the paper, so it's not going to be as see-through. Okay, but that's it. That's how simple it is. See what I'm saying? So simple. Now, you know, if you wanted to do these for a wedding centerpiece, you know, you could add any type of flower, you could use any type of stamps, you know, on there. Go to your dollar stores. You can get these containers, even at Michael's and you know, the craft stores and stuff that are out. They have them for, like, you can get the fishbowl ones. You know, it's a little bit smaller than this one, but you can get the fishbowl ones for like 99 cents. You know, and sometimes you can get them half off, or they're only 50 cents. So the mulberry paper itself, you know, I think it runs about $5 for a package of it, but you see how much you use, right? You can get multiple projects out of one package of mulberry paper. And the rest is just decoupage and, you know, your stamping and coloring and stuff. So simple to do, very inexpensive, but what a beautiful result. Wouldn't that be gorgeous on a fall table? Thanksgiving. Love it. Love my sunflowers. All right. That is it for me today, guys. Thanks so much once again for joining me. I will be back next week. I will still be here. So you'll get to see my trailer once again and probably hear my dogs whining and my husband coming in and out. But I know you guys don't mind. So join me next week, same time, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm not sure what I'm doing next week yet. I'm gonna do a wreath. Oh, yes, I'm gonna do a very special wreath. I'm gonna show you something really cool next week. So join me then. I will see you all then. From now until then, have a great week, everybody, and don't forget to take some time to craft because it's good for your soul. All right, everybody, take care. Have a great week. See you later.